On to the October 21st,
Recording in
2024
progress.
Board of Aldermen meeting. Would everybody please join with me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Alderman Plufka.
Here.
Alderwoman Tice.
Here.
Alderman Weggie. Here. Alderwoman Sims, absent. Alderman Lockmiller, absent. Alderman Gould.
Here.
Alderwoman Harder. Here. Alderman Erger.
Here.
Is she on there?
Just have a sound. Can you hear us, Alderwoman Sims?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. So we have
Seven members present.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on to the agenda approval. Any changes or modifications to the agenda? Yes, Alderman Gould.
I would like to make a motion to table consent agenda item C, resolution number 1524, which was approving the Brentwood Parks Master Plan. I'm not making this motion in an essence to say that we shouldn't approve it. I'm just saying that it hasn't really gone through. It's a lot to take in, so I'd like to table it to next meeting and have it be part of the upcoming Public Works Committee.
Okay. We have a second? Second. Okay. Any discussion on that motion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. So do we have any other changes to the agenda? Any objection to approving the same by acclamation with the exception of the motion made by Alderman Gould? Seeing no objection, will be so approved. Let's move down to citizen comments. Anybody in the public care to address the board? Now is the time to do so. You will be given up to 3 minutes to speak. We just ask that you come to the podium and state your name and your address. No one online? Okay. Move down to mayor and alderman reports. The mayor has no report. Alderman Plufka.
Just a report that public safety will meet this Wednesday, October 23rd at 5:30 right here in this chamber.
Alderwoman Tice.
No report.
Alderman Weggie.
We will have the rescheduled Public Works meeting on Tuesday, the 29th, next week, 6 p.m.
Alderwoman Sims.
We will have another special Ways and Means. Our budget.
Ways and Means meeting tomorrow night, beginning at 5:30. You cut out there, Alderwoman Sims.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but okay, you're cutting out again. So essentially, we've got a special Ways and Means meeting tomorrow night, 5:30 on the agenda. I'm looking at Alderwoman Tice.
Police, fire, administration, ETSD, and IT.
Okay, thank you. Alderman Lockmiller is gone. Alderman Gould. Alderman Gould.
The only other thing I would point out is there's also at 5:30 a national night out event that I would encourage those who aren't on the Ways and Means Committee to go to and all the residents attend. That will be at the event pavilion in Brentwood Park.
Thank you. Alderwoman Harder. And Alderman Erger.
The next Brentwood Forest Board meeting is next Tuesday, October 29th at the clubhouse. Thank you.
Thank you. And I forgot, we are having coffee with the mayor next Thursday, not this Thursday, next Thursday, Halloween Day, October 31st, at the fire department at 9 o'clock. And if this has become a bit of a tradition, we have that. The fire department opens up the firehouse to the residents for the annual coffee with the mayor in October. And we encourage people to show up in costumes to celebrate Halloween. And Chris's pancakes will be there, along with some other food items, I think. But this is usually a well-attended coffee with the mayor, so if you can make it, I think you'll enjoy it. Wonderful opportunity to see a lot of residents. City Administrator report. No, let's go ahead and have that presentation. So SWT, you guys are up. Or Eric.
I'm just bringing the computer up here for Scott and Jay so they can give their presentation.
Hello, thanks for having me here tonight. Excited to present the final master plan documents. So my name is Scott Rundy. I'm a partner and project manager for this planning effort with SWT. I'm joined by Jay Wolfschlager, managing partner with SWT as well. So I'm going to give a quick recap of where we've been, where we've gone, and then I'm going to dive into a little bit more about the recommendations, how we came up with those, and then more specifically focus on the capital action plan portion of the report. Are you guys seeing the screen all right?
I think we just lost it.
Okay. That's all. Let me know, and we can. So just quick recap. This slide kind of goes over the project goals and the process that we've been working on throughout the project. So, really we wanted to start by developing a baseline, comprehensive understanding of the challenges, the opportunities, the constraints that are, faced with the park system, the facilities and the amenities. And really we wanted to make sure that with this planning effort, we were prioritizing feedback from the community, stakeholders, not just at one point, but throughout the entire process. And that's really the bulk of those first three bullet points in the process. So the data collection, the community engagement, and the needs assessment was really driven towards kind of working towards those goals. With the recommendations, we developed and identified plans for improvements in existing parks as well as new properties, undeveloped properties. We want to make sure that those recommendations were looking forward, future, holistic, and kind of really build off that baseline understanding we developed. And with the capital action plan that will go in more detail today, we want to make sure that we have a comprehensive plan for how those recommendations get implemented. And we were targeting a 10-year vision for this plan. So our recommendations provided in the report are kind of focused on 5 different areas. So one is existing and undeveloped parkland. So we not only provided specific recommendations for specific existing parks and undeveloped parks, we also provided system-wide opportunities, ways to help improve amenities system-wide and look for opportunities for growth as well. From trails and connectivity, there were several plans already in place for trails and connectivity, both within parks and as well as long-range planning citywide. So we want to use this report to bring those recommendations together, merge them with the feedback we've been hearing for this process, just so that we can have a consistent plan for those trail system moving forward. Programming events, the focus of the recommendations associated with these are more supporting the programming and events that are already in place, knowing that this is a core service of the park system. And then also looking at opportunities to kind of plan for expansion of those programs and events. Facilities, a lot of the focus was on outdoor park facilities within specific parks, but also provided recommendations for improvements to the community center as well. And then operations, recommendations focused on budgeting, revenue, providing maintenance to the system, and then staffing as well. So with each of the recommendations, we applied community values to them. And these community values were built off of the feedback we heard throughout the process. As well, we wanted to tie it to the vision and the mission of the park system and the park department. And really what we want to illustrate with these community values is for each recommendation, what is the specific community benefit or benefits that are being provided by this recommendation. So for the capital action plan, really wanted this to be a guide for why this recommendation is in the report, what's the timeline for when it's to be implemented, what are the potential funding sources, and whose main responsibility for overseeing the implementation of the recommendation. So for category, for example, we want to highlight whether it's a recommendation geared towards growing the system or investing in existing amenities and facilities. Is it more of a recommendation geared towards operational changes, or is it looking for opportunities such as partnerships? Community values, kind of just described on the last slide. Timeline, we divided this between short-term, which is more kind of 1 to 5 year range, midterm recommendations, which are more 6 to 10 years, and then long-term recommendations that may be longer than that, 11 years plus. Funding source, we looked at traditional sources, so revenue from taxes, fees, general fund, bonds, more traditional funding sources that the city has better control over, but also looking at potential alternative funding sources, so grants, private partnerships, private-public partnerships, donation opportunities, number of other alternative funding sources. And then really kind of trying to focus in on who would be the main responsible party for overseeing the implementation. So in the report, in the capital action plan, we have charts that kind of help break out this information for each recommendation. That's kind of what you're seeing on the right here. But we're also highlighting specific primary actions with each of those recommendation focus areas. So just highlight specific recommendations that we felt were important to focus on. So for existing undeveloped parkland, we felt that a focus on sustainability and natural resources was important. And the reason for that is, working towards the implementation described in the Brentwood Sustainability Plan, knowing that that's a more overarching recommendation that'll impact most, if not all, of the recommendations we're providing in the report. Focusing on improvements to existing park was another primary action that we saw there. Undeveloped parkland, such as Mount Calvary Park, and then reinforcing the park cooperative with Richmond Heights and Maplewood. So for trails and connectivity, the primary action item there is internal park trails, so improving access to trails within specific parks. And then also looking at citywide connections. So these may be more medium to long-term connections, but keeping an eye out for opportunities to provide those connections. Then programming and events. We want to focus specifically on Brentwood Sports Complex, knowing that there's maintenance challenges with the sports complex due to the flooding and the conditions with the specific location. So feeling there's more study need to be done on specific programming on the site, the events that take place there, partnerships, how that ties with revenue for the system. And then facilities, a focus on outdoor park facilities. A lot of these are described in the park-specific plans and recommendations. So things such as pavilion renovations, restroom renovations. And then we also wanted to focus on community center renovations. So a little bit more study needed there for specific plans to explore opportunities for providing additional storage space within the community center, and then also space to support expanded programming and events. Operations, one thing that we heard as being very important to the community throughout the process was maintaining a high level of maintenance for the parks. So we want to make sure that our recommendations are kind of geared towards maintaining that high level of maintenance and high level of care, providing the staffing and resource needs to maintain that. But then also looking for specific items we heard, such as additional storage space for maintenance as well. So in addition to those specific recommendations, we highlighted several implementation early action projects. So one being system-wide tree planting plan. And we felt this one was important, similar to the sustainability coordination. This is more of an overarching kind of broad plan that will help steer multiple park and throughout the city. Brentwood Park parking. I know that some parking's been implemented already, but looking at other opportunities to provide additional space, knowing that that's a very well-used park. Brentwood Phase 1 Arboretum, that one's already kind of underway. Hanley Park restroom and parking lot improvements. That's another priority project to get that renovated. And then implementation of Mount Calvary Park. From a planning perspective, looking at potential feasibility study for renovations of community center and programming, and then also the Brentwood Sports Complex, so master planning and doing some feasibility study for that site as well. So next step in the process, we'll take your questions tonight and look forward to the adoption of the master plan and then begin the plan implementation. So with that, I'll kind of turn it over to any questions you all have.
Thank you, Scott.
Yep.
Do we have any questions? You're going to get another opportunity to go through this in front of the Public Works Committee. When's that meeting? You know, next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday? Okay.
Okay. So, yeah. See you then, and I'm sure there'll be a lot more questions. So thank you so much. Thanks, Jay. Appreciate it. All right, next up is the consent agenda. We have now 6 items under it. Do we have any questions about any of the items or any requests to remove any of the items from the consent agenda? Not, Chair would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Plufka?
Yes.
Alderwoman Tice?
Yes.
Alderman Weggie?
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims?
Yes.
Alderman Gould?
Yes.
Alderwoman Harder? Yes. Alderman Erger?
Yes.
Motion carries by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you. Next up is old business. We have one item, and that is bill number 6531. We're asking for a first and second on this, but I think Eric is going to be handling this, or is Dan? Dan's handling this.
Yeah, if you recall back at the May 6th board meeting, the board approved a bill which became an ordinance to do the temporary parking lots in Manchester. And according to the code, those lots are for 180 days. So that sets the expiration at November 2nd. So that's why we're bringing it here tonight to ask for another 180-day extension. And then if that expires, we'll bring it back again.
Any questions? We would like to have a second.
Do we need a first reading first?
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you very much. Mr. City Attorney, can we get a first read of bill number 6531?
Bill number 6531, first reading. An ordinance enacting emergency measures to extend the continued use of temporary parking lots for Brentwood Park.
Thank you. Dan, what's this about? No, just kidding.
Motion for a second reading.
Thank you.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. City Attorney. Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. City Attorney, can we get a second read by title only, please, of bill number 6531?
Bill number 6531, second reading. An ordinance enacting emergency measures to extend the continued use of temporary parking lots for Brentwood Park.
Thank you. Chair would entertain a motion to perfect bill number 6531 into ordinance form.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Plufka?
Yes.
Alderwoman Tice?
Yes.
Alderman Weggie?
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims?
Yes.
Alderman Gould?
Yes.
Alderwoman Harder? Yes. Alderman Erger?
Yes.
By a vote of 7-0, Bill 6531 will become ordinance number 5159.
Thank you. Thanks, Dan. Next up, under new business is resolution number 1527, which is a resolution approving a settlement agreement between St. Louis County and the city of Brentwood, Missouri. Who's handling that? Me? All right. We believe the saga is over of the sales tax issue. It's been a while, goes all the way back to the summer of 2022, when staff noticed, I think Michelle actually noticed, no, that predates you? Oh my gosh, okay. Noticed an anomaly with millions of dollars more than what we normally have. And one thing led to another, and we realized that we had been overpaid by around $7 million. And so we voluntarily remitted $5,462,919.31 as soon as possible, because we want to get that money into the hands of the municipalities. And ever since then, we've been trying to work with the county to come up with the balance, and we have reached a resolution, and that is for us to remit $1.4 million. We have a settlement agreement in place, and we just need a resolution from you all authorizing us to execute that settlement agreement. So that's what this is all about. So we can get a motion to approve resolution number 1527.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay. Yes, Alderman Plufka.
I see it at the bottom. I'm sorry. I didn't see anywhere that the county was going to be a signatory to the agreement, but they are at the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great point. Yeah, the settlement agreement also operates as a release so that the county agrees that they will not come back to us and ask for any more, which is very important.
Thank you. Yep.
Okay, any other discussion? Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Plufka?
Yes.
Alderwoman Tice?
Yes.
Alderman Weggie?
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims?
Did you? Yes.
Alderman Gould?
Yes.
Alderwoman Harder?
Yes.
Alderman Erger?
Yes.
Motion carries by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you. Brings us down to citizen comments. Anybody in the public care to address the board? Now is the time to do so.
Nobody has their hand raised online.
Okay, then we do have a request to go into closed session pursuant to RSMO section 610.021 subsections 1, 2, 3, and 12. Can we get a motion to that effect, please?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Plufka?
Yes.
Alderwoman Tice?
Yes.
Alderman Weggie? Alderwoman Sims?
Yes.
Alderman Gould?
Yes.
Alderwoman Harder?
Yes.
Alderman Erger?
Yes.
Motion carries by a vote of 7-0.
Great, thanks, everybody.